Thank you very much, and I hope you won't be annoyed with me if I make sense. Try my best. It was really lovely to hear so many of you read your own work, and it's obvious you have a really strong community together, so it's really nice for me to come from Toronto and parachute into this context where there's already a lot of knit-in community. So thanks for having me, and very good to see. I'm going to start with some selections from What Stirs, and then I'll read a bit from more recent Welling. Turret door. The fixed door is usually held closed using a hyphen dash on the edge of the door that slides upward into the jamb at the top. There's a hyphen dash you pry open with your finger to release the chip. Yup. I had a red patent leather one with a hyphen dash that clicked. Was a hyphen dash key kid. Photos show baby dash on with asymmetric dash. The hyphen dash is stuck, and there's no way Kim can get it unstuck, so Kim has to cut her out of it. Handles, straps, and a hyphen dash. Everything is edible. What is a dash, and what is the difference between dash and flip-flop? She lifted the hyphen dash and entered the turret door while the lady and I waited below. He'll dash on fine initially, then he pulls off and pops himself back on with a shallow dash. The pink one has a hyphen dash for the lid and would look real cute on a chain. So they think because there is a hyphen dash, you push under a flange, a bear could not watch you once and figure the whole thing out? I will have to come up with some sort of hyphen dash. I admit I am an addict. Dash hooking is my life. It has a hyphen dash you have to open up to get it open. The hood dash is the catch or fastener that holds the hood of your vehicle closed whenever it is shut. You know the hyphen dash that clips into the palm rest? Anyway, you slot the blade in with a... I'm sorry, I can really not see my page. So I'm going to have to just use this one. Sorry about that. That actually works better for me, if you don't mind. Okay. That was the hyphen dash, giving me access to my text. To remove the wiper arm, they simply pulled that hyphen dash out, bent the wiper arm back, and slid it off. All she had to do was hit it repeatedly till the hyphen dash dropped open. Did you mean hyphen match? Now I'm going to read a little from one of the longer pieces in this book. It's a serial piece. It's called Something Inside Me. Something inside me was screaming, "Right, you fool! Tell the whole damned world how you feel." Something inside says there's somewhere better than this. Holy One, I have something inside me, something nameless. I started thinking about, yes, Poland. And something inside me wanted to come back, listen to Something Inside Me by Elmore James for free on Rhapsody. Something inside me wishes this was photoshopped. I closed my eyes, ready to feel something inside. No, me. Don't ask me why, but something inside me says tequila. Something inside me seeks the infinite comfort of knowing that I am completely snowbound. Something inside me told me everything would be okay. There's something, yes, inside me, and it's called the blues. Something inside me has died. Something inside me went. There's something inside me gnawing constantly, and I've yet to put my finger on it. I couldn't articulate it, but no, Star Wars touched something inside me. I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think I ate enough. Witch's Brew asks, I feel something inside me stirring, something inside me, some correlation outside me. Visual Splendor coupons. My idle eyes beheld milk and milk's surrogate. tears of disbelief, fatigue. My gaze was practically lashed shut. Still, I rose to smells of a good breakfast. I stayed flat on my back, supine, breasts, globes. The sun's opal leaked in. Shafts of turquoise reclined. I refused to budge. My beloved danced for me. Ha ha. The babies whimpered. Day filtered through a window in white stripes. Mauve hydrangea heads nodded off in front of my laptop with the pallor of popped vivacity. Shiny silver crescents flecked my visual field along with glassfuls. I wanted to doze. I desired a shower. My eyes mapped the ceiling, trilled loudly, then landed on their huge, hazeling irises. The scene was musical and filled with milk and keys and coins. My attaché case. Day one. I like, did I mention, visual splendor coupons? You knew that what you carried in it was not the important object. It was the surrogate of what could not be carried at all but bartered. My breasts have held milk and expressed milk and held language by the tit, so to speak, attachment. The modification of any object by who owns it. I mean, the person thinks they can own something. And then there must also be things not owned nor carried around for another effect like visual splendor, weight rebalancing, mood alteration, transfer to a new stanza. Trees hooked to sky by the gaze eyelashed shut. What is the mystery? I went to sleep, then woke up smelling only foods I can't stand, lukewarm. Day two. And in my attaché case, I put all the things that have stood in for me, stand up for me, stood guard. I carry my case in my right hand. I open doors with the left. There's a shiny silver latch I can see as I walk. Everything I'd hoped for attends in the rectangular space. See, there is air preserved for a moonwalk, for a last large cosmic gasp. I plan, never forget my case, even when particularly slow in the head, else rigid under the knees. Sometimes my shins ache. Nothing distracts me. Soon as my hat's on, the case handle heats each sleek crease of my knuckles. I cup its plastic weight, a non-slip baton I'll never, ever hand off and abandon. This is how well attached I am to my future. Dear ones, are you pleased? We knew that what we order, dear ones, cannot stand visual splendor surrogates. Our breasts have held pleased, non-slip perfect milk to pleased new stanza code held language. We concede its cup, its plastic by touched tit effect. We mean touched persons think and deserve coupons. Forget our particularly transfer or expressed milk. For touched tone of it, pleased latch, we stood guard, couldn't be case in our odd, touched perfect, and we knew that what we carried in it was not attouché. So now I'm going to read a little from Welling, and I'll start with a piece that sort of speaks to parenting from a similarly disenchanted point of view, but with a more kind of identifiably stanzaic sort of lyricism, relative. The mysterious boy without parents has a gash in his purple face, and out of it unfolds an escalator of primitive idiom at which we grimace with involutant rib cages. Is there equal opposite contraction within the boy's winged brain halves? Does his blood backward somersault toward a green lake and sand pail and a set of soft arms to catch him? My child is confined to his room until algebra adheres to the cartilaginous diffidence dumb teachers calculate wrongly will form rarely if a kid feels valued and encouraged. Fed lasagna. Rebellion is a recipe of reciprocal terrorism that opera reveres as realism. Cleave away from love's suffocation if you know love. Surely strike your mother's wrist from your temple. My son carries a coffee to my bedside, and I thank him. Back from enemy camp, my mask is skin, lightly wrinkled. Will not embrace with the darling adagios he received as a toddler, but unwordedly salute. Then I can't not hug him and make reference to the street kid who sat in urine with his pinafore pit bull dog collar spiking his own throat. My son draws back, bares teeth, streams a hiss. I get why he's out there. Think of the freedom, man. Welling is a book that whose title comes from the hill I grew up on, called Wellington Heights. I know Wellington's a big street here, but Wellington Heights in Sudbury. You've heard of Sudbury, I'm sure, and all the rocks there and the geography that's kind of like this. Nothing's gridded and you have to climb everywhere, but I really had to climb every day back and forth. And so I decided to write a kind of, sort of epic poem, fully indulging this conceit of that landscape. And I'll just, it's quite long. I'm going to just read, I'm going to read a couple of sections, I guess, of it. You can't go anywhere directly. You have to go over, over big canyons. And whenever I'm back there now, I never know where I am. I never know how to tell a cab where to go because I don't know the names of any of the streets. It's just like, well, around there and then down and by the train tracks. That sort of place. You would have to desire Wellington, or else despise a flat trek from waking to sleep. Like in its name, there are 3 suckable bends en route to the summit. Wellington encourages tenacity. Maybe it's why I love the unlovable ones. More work. Work is a climb of the highest order. The climb authenticates the body and your focus, too. You have to hate and love simultaneous muscles. You can't balk at walking. There's nothing silently mutterable. Your body aches all the way to the apex. Descent is like a loose cannon, useless wheels amok. You feel as stupidly without control as a penguin. Your high knows it will hit asphalt soon. Slack chin wags in front of you like a leash. You follow along, comparing yourself to the broken lilacs, the slush. Toboggans could kill you, and so could roller skates. At least half the time, everything is utterly downhill. As any pessimist knows, uphills know better. Both suck triply, sounds unglued in your mouth, Wellington. Unlovable ones are the ones I love. Did you hear? More than sound sticks in me, eyes do, and the voice's arrow and skin. Perhaps You can drift in a float up the mountain. Maybe your heart is clandestine, a rotary blade, a whirring knife. Maybe you'll wheel like a star to the ground and grovel, yes, against gravel, grind your chops to junked metal. A hill sends hubcaps to its pit, disposes old wheel spokes, carts out kicked up drums, fry pans, clock faces, tins. Why can't I send a clamor of my love crisp to the abyss? This is the way I love, loudly and in silence, without reasonable urgency to deface the rigor of Wellington. If the climb is a fetish, see, if climbing arouses blood with one hit of purer air than another, adrenaline shots will douse the view and cadence, and the head will lose perspicacity. Look at that skyline with the stack iconic spurting chemical burn into Sudbury. You are practically cloud, a cumulus thigh with muscular mobility, veritable windsock. You rise into the unlovable loving and crest near cruising altitude. Love is a flotation device strapped to your pelvis. Not that you want to be crude, just the hill requires stringent hips and bondage. This is the climb you make every morning and afternoon. You lean on the femur and press. You move the other arch upward on the hill. Each step gasps to be so repeatable, foot pounding opposite its twin. You make your way on Wellington. There's loads of snow reciprocating, harassing spine through rubber soles, or there's sloughing rain, backwash hydraulics upending your balance. You lean into the curve of each rotund stretch, count to 3 again and again, and again you are the third person in the third generation of the 3rd century to hate Wellington's extraneous design. The road blasters and muckers, dumpers and pavers run budgets to a dark blister crawling up to the hill's brow, so desirous. There was a lot of land in Sudbury proper. The heights could have been set lower, less spiraled with tar, less traversed. This is how I know about the unlovable. Desire is a disaster when you need climbing gear to arrive. My love came from the world's other side, flippy, forever standing on its ear tips, happy about this invertigo. I fell for it upside in myself, so I too am on the wrong base over and over, exactly perpendicular and backward. Not on the up, and then there's the real thing of its silence. Love jilted my advances like a mountain, always one more turn ahead for a lure, and I heaved blood in its direction. The loops of my childhood coil cannot climb into a lap, but must trudge to its smooth ledge, anticipating a next swirling swath of movement. There I shall language my muscular project, make the 3 words cohere and disentangle, one syllable from its leaching others, pull them apart like sluggish parasites. Well, ing, ton, weight of meaning persists, a welling ton on my neck, wilted tin of my gut, woolen tan as my cheeks sap the noon sun, wailing 6 elongated stanzas as if crazed by nostalgia. That's the thing. Wordplay is something to entertain as if otherwise time would be wasted or desultory or ruined. As if we lingered in love's trudging motion up and then down, down and back upward as the stream of black road slithers and surges and we are anything on it but a pair of warm pads stirring the soil. We yearn, we forget. Wellington will assert its proud hillocks, flaunt corrupted curbs. You get the routine by now. Your tongue's pretty tired, almost like it's been sucked like a thumb, a soother, a sucker, a mountain of 3 notes, ascending serious redundant turns, and packing a blown, unlovable view of its whole self. Wellington. Thank you. I'm going to read a text that is sort of new work, and it's from a manuscript in which I'm doing a few things. I'm trying to address categories of poetry and poetic activity, trying to sort of speak to the plurality of the communities that we create as poets, but which often splinter off into very kind of separated little interest groups. And I'm trying to think about the way poetry as an activity is a politic and culture in its most vibrant medium, right? That we generate speech together, and it's always political speech. It always has the opportunity to shift what's going on and what can happen in any environment. And I'm also trying to address some of the, sort of these cross currents of the lyric address that's maybe steeped in a lament or a sense of loss, and poetry as a form that can make concrete, can make present. And I'm playing a lot with form in this work. So it sounds like sentences, and then that work gets taken up in other forms. I work in series most often. So this is one of the core texts that I've worked through in other ways, but I'm going to read you the core text. It's called There Is No We. While I was waiting, you may think I have forgotten you. In this case, we hurriedly move to efface the words you and I. After the past festers, imaginings built on its purity. Everyone slips, there's crust. Fortunately, cities are large, striped with busy. Few speak of crosslights, or are these critics? Recently, I heard about writers who intend to disappear in their texts. Another wanted to mount a novel civilization. Both feel regal. You may think I have forgotten you. Is memory assiduous? Is an image named you only the efficient clamp in whose tough metal I insist my own gloss? For example, I see you at the market with one arm raised to manage the weight of a bag of onions. The seller nods and with a slight push passes. Very economical. See how closely I spy, how promptly I reappear. Does a beloved matter? You load your onions into a dark cloth knapsack, and from now on you are carrying significant organic yet hidden weight on your completely darling spine. I was such a shit, I mince and observe from the rear. At the intersection, strangers produce near erasable gestures of notice. One's iris squeezes as if around the post of an earring. One's lower lip demi-lowers. One's suck, one's freeze. Then forget it, everybody jerks and walks, their earplug cords bob sprightly. It's not that I need to meet you. Why would I need to meet you? Possibly affection crusts over. I pay with my bank card at the confectionery. No one resorts to speaking. There's a statement in the mail. Such good bedtime stories. Transactions recoverable for ease of. But somebody must snooze. Imaginings slips. So the thing is, while I sleep, even my head is silent, and we have no record of what or how I may have dreamed of you, my revenant. Onions are anguish, that's common coding. Me piling such on your spine, ever wishful, off balance. You just slice them up to cook. I have forgotten. It's all that's needed. There is no darling we. 2. Few speak of crosslights. Sometimes it is kind. Crusts of bread slush up the curb. I have ardent cramps. For anyone who doesn't, this can be ridiculed. Will you participate in ridicule? Have you asked this of your own torso? So one day the weight of very nice onions slowed you in the bike lane. Somehow a kid stumbled. This was in a video game. Near collision. You brake to avoid forming a wee on the black pavement. Suddenly O's. Suddenly eyes ricochet crazy. There are writers who record the appalling protection of the G20. Another one excavates, one gouges, some of them really like metaphors for their main course. We hurry to lift the boy back into his sneakers. Imagine the strange violence of the virtual moment, these shoes dislodged. Can you resume your bike route? I hurry with my panier half open. Of course, if even a little, it is open. So how I hurry involves an open panier and a wind entering. In this way, me. Adequate force is even breezes. I feel this, and no one else has to feel this ever, or in the video game for me to feel this on my face. There is no required we. 3. cubed, then translucent. It's luck, slips to particles, hidden under a bed and dust, which is pretend in Sim City. I pretend a lot of stuff about you. Rotate your earring posterior. Somebody retaliates with a cross-check across the kneecap. I push my credit card into a stranger's fly. Ismen or Yasiju. Yes, perhaps it is all right to admire Sistinas. One counts vowels, one's grammar. Gut real irrelevant in the mailbox for several bucks. Forget we averaged how I waited, all my waiting for not you, but some images of you I like to pretend are congealing in the bar fridge. That's the main confession. Traffic lamps flicker, seem to lick. Its most obvious production. We is no enigma of note, I get it. Forgotten. Torso your, these are only onions. This was even compost. Larding is the event of we. Still, you will gather. How are you doing? If I do 10 more minutes, is that too much, or?
No.
I'm going to share with you a text that is sort of is kind of like a sound poem, in a way, I guess, if there's a category. It's mostly interested in its musicality. It's for my daughter, and it's a kind of piece about girlhood and pleasure. It's called My Girlish Feast. Feast your tent on women, the kitchen if thirsty, whole globe in globs, felt perks and suede pillow. If thirsty, fuss. Sentience is of interest, chalk it up. Go on, go on, go on, go. Wanton never gets geese. You're a philophile, aren't you, if thirsty? Slices in aspic in particular. Mad or tired or picture me. Iced tea in the ice cube, tinted drinks. Net her feisty folder. Seesaw, seesaw, ballast your tips. If thirst, third base is bust. Gallop and gulp and guilt. Fulsome, lively head of hair. Outgoing girls grow up first. Catch it. Pelt is fur. Paid sill for daisies. Spices entrance if thirsty. Dollops tinge. Recompense ongoing thirst of. Thirsty if gloves in pillow. Suede fuss. Thirsty up it go. On geese gets thirsty. If particular in me. Picture drinks. Tinted folder, feisty tips, your bust is gilt and hair. Of it, catch daisies, for tinge dollops of thirst. My little girl, my littlest girl, my big girl, my bigger girl, my middle girl, oh my girls, oh my grilled cheese sandwiches, oh my milk, oh my midwinter icicles, my inch thick middle, my big thighs, my silk kimono shirt, my Mai Tais in hiding, oh my girlish hiccup, my ill-looking inchworm, my backward girl view, my simpler trinket box, my little cinema, my thirsty fusses, oh my tired kaleidoscope, kaleidoscope. Oh, my girls, my girl and her middle and little girls, my insidious inside, my riveting sing-song, my iced tea and the ice cube, my middle tints, oh, my fingers, my little fingers, my biggest fingers, oh, my wristwatch I smithered, my brittle smiles, oh, my third base, my milkish thirst, oh, my elegant girl, my dirty windowsill, oh, my middle, oh, my little, oh, my biggest. Oh, my biggest little middle windowsill. Oh, my girl, first base smiles. Oh, my smithered fingers, fingers. Oh, my tints cube sing-song inside. Oh, my girls, kaleidoscope. Oh, my fusses cinema girl view box. Oh, my inchworm hiccup hiding shirt. Oh, my thighs, middle icicles. Oh, my milk sandwiches, girl. Oh, my girl. Girl, oh, girl. Oh, icicles. Oh, shirt. Oh, box. Oh, kaleidoscope. Oh, inside. Oh, fingers. Oh, smiles. Oh, windowsill. Whole globe in globs which 6 squirrels pillage. If there smithers my wristwatch, my lips will snivel in particular. My snivel in particular. My snivel and my thirst. Several ill-looking squirrels inch inside. Wanton never gets geese inside. Pelt is fur, strict differences, fulsome, lively head of hair. Dollops, icicles, cinema. Mad or tired, or picture girls happy and petulant. Collapse childish categories and grow up first. Suede pillow and felt perks or paid svelte fingers. Fake a mussed-up hairdo, go on. Net my feisty folder of middle and sugar girls. My littlest sentience is of ballast interest, of silk and aspic or lobes of glibbest wanton. Kitchen, if thirsty, and women, oh, tent my girlish feast. That's my daughter, Tia. And I'm just going to finish with one poem from Welling. This is a poem that's a little bit of a statement of poetics, I guess. I'm so glad you read the Ballad of the Lonely Masturbator because it's the perfect poem to read before this piece. I couldn't have asked for better pairing. And the poem is called The Problem of Confessionality. Months later, actually years later, a robin bows at me from the fence and then sails in slow motion arrival to my feet. He, with his dried blood chest, has literally leapt a fence to enter my yard. Sirens singe the air. I'm not making this up. Through the vertical fence slats, down a horizontal laneway, a car flashes its rear brake light and moves north. You cannot tally all the motion in process. The city has a tidal system circulating human thought through machinery, along roadways, squeezing aside the persistent animal life force whose musicality is consonant with muscular flicker. Nobody sings what those birds do. Poetry tries and maybe cooperates briefly at a sort of brink, desiring, as we do, pure sound separable from linguistic code. I don't know about this. I don't think any of us, even the best poets among us, do more than signal a portal that would open on a room full of squirming words. Our most primitive noises seethe with translatability. But a bird looks you in the eye, opens its beak, and speaks. He confesses his problem, like Woody Allen making movies over and over again about a man who has killed his wife, his mistress, his whore. One wants to smile, for to be entertained is such release. Underneath, we start to hear the low surge of schools of small fish slipping into formation, coagulating each to the next, to prepare a ruse for an oiled shark whose glide, leagues under the turquoise surface, splits the purple belly of the ocean. All it is gathering, seeking shelter, craving freedom. Words lock us to that day surgical look that passes between us, you and I, resenting our mutual fixation on the brink of meaning. Can you not hear me sing here as a bird sings? To the patch of grass he hops in. We are only human, caught in our codes of confession. Unbearably literal. Add to this the difficulty that the bird is long gone and can only sing in the yardage of your waking dream while you drink beer in a bar. Someone will cough soon, and there are those fidgeting like squirrels. We are like animals and birds, like living creatures, and yet, just as tuneful begins to tremor the likelihood that we are irreconcilably fixed to words and will never be disgorged from their craving for clarity. Maybe I mean something simple, like the proof of stone rocks at a shoreline, free of those timid sharks and deliberate minnows. Maybe I mean murder, whatever. I confess it is more profane when you are not yet drunk, and when you are drunk, it all starts to seem somehow like whistling, like a trilled breeze pricking at your forearm. It starts to seem like a bird could sing only for you, without his hidden self lost forever on the brink of pure sound, like you could part the purple sea between you, as if your sharp mouth could become a gullet, a swallow, a belly. Perhaps we can live inside each other in such innocence. All this I mention in my steely gaze at the robin, sweeping my hand across the space in front of my breastline like Edith Piaf. He says, "Are you nuts? Woody Allen is no murderer. I should know, for only today I have eaten 1,000 worms, which spilled warmth into my larynx, added iron to my impressive chest. I know what I've killed, while you like to sit there writing with extraordinary silences." He flies off, little fucker. Hours earlier, actually moments before, I had been writing in the morning's fluid hum, one with all the cars, having positive thoughts, drinking a lot of coffee. The kind of day that starts well, a portal to a pleasant afternoon when I might walk in the park and then go to the Cineplex to see a movie, shoving my hand under my coat so no one can see me rub and tug my clitoral gland in the dark theater. Have that pleasure, muffled blossom, insistent swirling, which women do as much as those with cocks, but we do not confess this so directly, so as not to murder the image one likes to code of us. We are whore-like, sure, but only if you consider the sexual woman's direct look at you without mutual wonder. There is this problem of confessionality. What if we don't know how to put words to that look, if she stares us down in broad daylight, purple in her murmurings, her crisp and centripetal moans? Maybe she's full of herself, a kind of song you cannot make your way out of. Maybe she just dropped by to check your Facebook status, chortle for a moment, tweet at you. Perhaps her red breast is not yours, is not a mark of the male, after all. When she flashes a nipple, it is a gland you cannot look away from, and it is a word with a song you do not hear, and still it is only code, always coded, never pure. We don't know what will spurt out of it, whether drinking is appropriate, whether leaving would be better. I'm not making this up. Something about a yard, a song, and an audience, moments later and hours ago. For like you, I have not wanked off for a while, and would like to, soon, if only for the release from this problem, which weighs in me, like language, when what you want is to reside in music and can't think of the words to make sense of an ocean parting, a bird agitating toward flight, the brief, deep siren inside immense pleasure that means, despite confessionality, it is on its own brink, solo, and will be again. Thanks for listening. Thank you to the Tree Reading Series. thank you especially to Rod Peterson and to his wife Liz, who are hosting me tonight, which I really, really appreciate. And to Rona and Rod, who had me out to dinner, which was really lovely. And thank you again. I hope that we can stay and chat.